Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Thursday, January 2nd, 2024. That's more than 4.5 years of Torah every single day, of finding each other from all over the world. It's good to see all of you, Annie and Michelle, Boker Tov. Susie and Shari, good morning. Hi, Chana. Thank you, Penny. It is broadcast 1210. It is day 454 of war. Chana and Sharon Rosa, Hineni, me too. Rose, it's good to see you on this last day of Hanukkah. Barry and Linda, Joyce, Boker Tov, Stan, and Sunday. Good to see you too. Let's take a second to say hello to everybody, then we'll sing a bracha, we'll learn some Torah, and we'll wish each other a good day. Sandy and Debbie, Dale, Deborah, and Jonathan. Hi, Jill. Good to see you. All right, friends, let's take a breath, sing a blessing, learn some Torah. Lisa, your mother, who is 95, is in the hospital, sending her wishes for strength and healing. And you. Natalie, today is your twins' birthday. Happy birthday. Today's Torah is for them. La 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 la. Ooh, Diane, today's your birthday. Happy birthday, my friend. Today, la 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 la. Today, la 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 la. Ay, la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Hafoch ba, hafoch ba, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Today, la 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 la. Today, la 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 la. Ay, la la la. So good to see all of you. I saw one or two comments that were erased or hidden. Jessica, it is so good to see you. You are in Israel right now. First time you are back since October 7th, 2023. Thank you for going back. Thank you for bringing us with you. And to all of us who are having, a heavy day, because sometimes that's just how days are. It is beautiful and strong and important and inspiring that we as a community can support each other. And so if you're having a great day, that is amazing. Share it with all of us. If you're having a hard day, share it with all of us. We are a community. That's what we do. It's really good to see all of you. Thank you for making this community real, my friends. It is broadcast 1210, and that is a huge accomplishment over 4.5 years of just knowing that we are here for each other. So bless all of you. It's the last day of Hanukkah, which is kind of sad. The eighth day contains multitudes. It contains existence plus, it contains infinity. There are Kabbalists, mystics, who see infinite potential in the last day of Hanukkah. We call it Zot Hanukkah. The tradition says this is the day of dedication. This is the day when the temple was rededicated. This is the day where our hearts are rededicated. And so I invite you, friends, to take a moment to rededicate your own heart. A little bit of Torah from the Parsha. We are in Vayigash. It's moments of meeting over and over, of reunion as well. This is a moment when Jacob makes his way to Egypt, which he doesn't want to do, but out of necessity he will, and he just learned that his son Yosef is still alive. There is good stuff happening. Good stuff. When Joseph brings his father Jacob to meet Pharaoh, I mean, talk about bring your parent to meet your boss. Very different scale. Pharaoh asks one question. The entire encounter is one question long, and then Jacob's response. What's the question you imagine Pharaoh would ask? This is what he does ask. Chapter 47, verse 8 of the book of Genesis, of Breshit. Vayomer Paro El Yaakov, Pharaoh said to Jacob, Kama yemei shnei chayecha. How many are the days of the years of your life? We don't know what to make of that. In fact, it is a fascinating question to commentators throughout time. Sforno says that Pharaoh was really overwhelmed at how old Jacob looked. So he says, oh my gosh, you're so old. How old are you? Other commentators suggest that because Pharaoh was seen as a god by his people, the existence of someone more ancient than Pharaoh could have felt like a threat. We don't really know, because Jacob responds to this question, but then then Pharaoh does not say anything else, and they leave each other's presence. Listen to how the answer might even make us think about the question. Jacob answered Pharaoh, the years of my sojourn on earth are 130. Few and hard have been the years of my life, nor do they come up to the lifespans of my ancestors during their sojourns on this earth. Then Jacob bade Pharaoh farewell and left. Vayetzem lifnei Paro. This can mean a million things. We don't really know what this means, but Jacob says a few things in his response. He says, I've lived a long life, but it isn't that long compared to my ancestors. I haven't lived that long, but my years have been hard. And that is a lot. How old are you? Is another way of saying, you look like you've been through some stuff. But you and I know, friends, in our community, you don't have to live a long life so far in order to have encountered things. Someone who is 10 years old today has already lived through pandemic, lived through, at least in the United States, insurrection and political upheaval, lived through the rising awareness of racial injustice in the United States, lived through the ongoing Ukraine war, has lived through a year and a half of war in Israel. 10 years. So when Pharaoh says, how old are you? I can see experience in your face. And Jacob says, I've lived, but not as long as my ancestors. In my short life, I have seen some things. Jacob then says goodbye. Pharaoh leaves, and Jacob leaves. This is a moment of meeting, of encountering equals. Pharaoh is, for any of the later stories about a Pharaoh, this Pharaoh saw in Joseph salvation, was willing to trust someone to manage a terrible situation. This Pharaoh was worthy of the dreams that God sent, which then Joseph interpreted. This Pharaoh asks a question of Jacob that reverberates with countless possible meanings. It could have just been, hi, how are you? How old are you? Tell me about your life. And that is certainly what Jacob does in response to the question. But it is fascinating that at the end of the encounter, there is no more talking. They don't talk to each other. Pharaoh asks, Jacob answers, and they leave each other's presences. That's a whole conversation. I take from this, and maybe we can think about this together, friends. When you see someone and you imagine something that they've been through, first of all, are you right? Do you know? No, of course not. No one from the outside knows the deepest truths of anyone else, even if they're your closest person. There are things that are essential in each of our souls that we spend lifetimes trying to unpack ourselves, let alone share with others, even our closest others. And so Pharaoh's question seems a little bit invasive, but maybe the way that he asks it is worthy of some attention. He says, Kama yemei shnei chayecha? How many are the days of the years of your life? It's actually a circumspect way of saying, tell me something about you. And Jacob just reveals depth, but with sensitivity. According to some commentators, what Jacob is also doing is saying, I've had a hard life, I haven't lived that long. And then he leaves, giving Pharaoh the chance to process what he has now learned. And if Pharaoh is at all intimidated by Jacob's longevity, his life experience, even his presence, by leaving, that gives Pharaoh a chance to do so with a little bit of space. Not sure really how to read it. No one really is. But I bless us, friends. I bless us with a chance to meet somebody new, to find a graceful way of asking a question of them, and to be space giving in the way we offer our own answers. It's a beautiful thing to see this in Torah, to see the possibilities of real encounter with a new person, to learn from their experiences without thinking we know the entirety of them, and to know that when we are granted full dignity as people, we have the chance to pour out our whole souls, and then we should be mindful of what that impact is. If I tell you everything going on in my brain, all the things I've been through, that will overwhelm you, no matter who I am or how long I've lived. What a gift, friends, it is to see this kind of a conversation in the Torah, however brief, between Pharaoh and Jacob. Two leaders, two different kinds of leaders. What a blessing it is to be witness to this conversation. And as Arlene said, let's make this the closing blessing for today. May we use this new year of 2025 to reach out to others and to listen. Really listen. Amen, my friend. Amen. So with me, I invite you to listen. Listen for the voices that we aren't blessed to hear right now, but that we hope to hear very soon. Likely with overwhelming testimony. We will be space giving. We have been to those who have survived terror, who have, thank God, returned home. There are 101 souls, some of them awaiting the true dignity of burial, and some awaiting the embrace of their families once again. Let's listen for that too. Send your hearts to the east, my friends. Kol od balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia on lo avda tikvateinu hatikva bat shnot alpayim להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends. Happy last day of Hanukkah.